In 2025, as in years gone by, the ChampCar iRacing series is paying some serious prizes and putting on some great racing on iRacing for ChampCar Endurance Series members, for iRacers, for the general public that want to join us, get on track, practice their skills, and also get in touch, get in contact, make some connections with the ChampCar paddock. So for round 5 of the ChampCar iRacing series, we head to beautiful Watkins, Glen, incredibly famous racetrack that puts on incredibly interesting racing. Live here on ChampCar Live and HJBC, David Haynes with Devin Peters and Michael Derby as we look forward to a 1-hour race at Watkins, Glen.
Those aren't mosquitoes you're hearing. Those are Miatas, and they're flying around and buzzing around the racetrack, and it's going to be a horde of them today. We got over 35 cars on track, and I'm thinking that they're going to stay real close together for a good little bit with the way the draft plays out around this track.
So we know there's a 1-hour race ahead of us for our drivers. It's going to require a pit stop, of course, as every car is starting with 4.3 gallons of fuel on board. This is the most modern specification of global Mazda MX-5 Cup car, known to many in North America as the Miata. Puts on such incredibly close racing, very accessible to everyone, incredibly popular both in the real world and on iRacing. So with qualifying happening right now, Michael Polisek's up top from Lincoln Fox, Jared Collins here in third, works his way through the outer loop. We're using the boot configuration, of course. So now you head down through the chute into the laces of the boot.
It's a great little track around here. It's got, the corners, they're simple on paper, but there's a lot of precision required to get it just right. And as the drivers were remarking today, the cars love to slip and slide around here. So even with sticky tires, lightweight, there's no aero. It's pure. It's racing, David Haynes, and they're going to show us a good time. And we're seeing some of them pushing so hard that they're spinning. Just saw a little incident in turn number 1 there.
Yeah, there's a good chance that qualifying's done for Lincoln Fox. Based on what I've just seen, it is 1/100th of a second to separate Polisek from Fox. So you've got to spin there, Fox. Unfortunate T-bone there, just on the exit of turn 1.
Now, luckily, he doesn't have to go turn a wrench and fix that. One of the appeals of iRacing, of course. You only have to tweak on your simulator if you want to. But it does tell us a little bit about the racing tonight. We'll have one fast repair out there for all the drivers. Of course, using a fast repair requires you to go to the pits, so that will affect your chances at winning. And we've got more than a few drivers that have a shot at winning tonight. I'd say Lincoln Fox is one of them. A 2:07.126 is good for second place on the grid right now, right behind our 3-time winner, Michael Polisek. And right ahead of Jared Collins, who's got 2:07.4 in the bag in third. We got 35 cars on the grid, so we'll avoid going through the whole list of them until the end of the practice. But there's definitely drivers pushing to put in a good lap with just 3 minutes left in qualifying.
One of the challenges of the racetrack is those curbs there in the inner loop, 4 apexes to try to fly across. Kyle Robertson's got himself a little group of ducklings. Looks like Andy Kosick and Alex Albert behind him as they come out of the boot and up towards turning back onto the short configuration of the racetrack.
I was going to say those look like some drivetrain or motorsports friends potentially. Actually, maybe less than usual. Usually Kyle Robertson's out in a whole crowd of them. But he's alone today with former champion Alex Albert, you saw on camera there, and then Andy Kosick driving the Mintmobile straight into the pits.
So what's changing in the session? Based on the conditions, the track ought to be getting a little bit hotter, which might make things difficult to improve as we go on, but it is partly to mostly cloudy today.
Yeah, track surface is really holding some temperature, reading over 90 Fahrenheit on the thermometer. But with the cloud cover maybe starting to come down just a tick. And there are a few trouble areas here. We'll have to keep an eye out for penalties on the exit of turn 1 and on the exit of turn 10 today. Definitely places where a guy could score an off track or a slowdown. Too many off tracks, you earn yourself a penalty after 25 incidents in the session. So that's, call it, what? 7 off track, or no, 7 4Xs or 25 off tracks. So definitely possible, especially with the way these Miatas like to bump draft.
Looking at Ryan Puxel at the moment, who's 4th. None of these sectors are improving him, and with the time left on the clock, he'll get just one last lap, or maybe he'll get no laps at all. So he's heading for pit lane. I think that's qualifying done for Ryan. Polisek's in the lane. Lincoln Fox, we saw what happened. Here's Tim Wire.
Yeah, he hit the line, but it wasn't an improvement. I'm not sure anyone else is close enough to the line to get one in. Cindy Picot might be our last chance. But it looks like it's going to be a practice pit lane entry with that line into the final corner.
And then our New York local boys, Bill Salen, Scott Grinnell, and Mark Kruger. Mark Kruger's 15th, so middle of the pack-ish. As you see, almost everyone's wrapping up and done.
Yeah, a few stragglers out on track, but I don't know if we'll have any improvers. Top Canadian on the grid, Stephen Remetz, put in a pretty good lap there at the end to get himself up to 21st place. I think he's left the track surface though now. He's got Cameron Sennhauser lapping here just behind him in 22nd, trying to put one in. Sennhauser does have a couple good sectors here.
Well, let's see. A 209.2 to improve on is not that. Not that for Cameron Sennhauser. as they wrap it up. We're almost done. Colin Lounsbury 23rd.
Yeah, that there's actually a funny little group in there right around 20th place where guys are, there's what, 7, 8 guys within a tenth of a second of each other. Just goes to show at ChampCar you can have fun no matter where you're racing in the field. And in the world of endurance racing, especially ChampCar endurance racing, sometimes it's more about being consistent and being a really good mechanic to win the race than it is about being the fastest guy on a single lap. But in the ChampCar Sprint Series, we have to do a little bit more sprinting. Go ahead.
Lounsbury found a 10th or 2 and went to 20th place, so just jumping ahead of that group you were talking about. Just a couple of tenths apart. Don't think there's anyone left on track. So does that jump the countdown a little bit? It's got 45 seconds left on it. And 34 drivers have set qualifying times, none from Bill Salen or Stephen Schaefer.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a prudent strategy tonight. It's going to be important for the drivers to keep things pointed the right way up the hill the first time. When these things are all in a big pack at the start of the race around here at Watkins Glen, it's always a bit of a hair-raising experience at the best of times. So we'll see what they manage to do. And there's our grid.
Yeah, it's just gonna wait 1 second to see if it still stands after this.
We got one more coming in.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so Michael Polisek, the championship leader, on pole from Lincoln Fox. And then row number 2, Jared Collins and Ryan Puchtel. Bill Woods and Kyle Robertson 5th and 6th for what will be a 2-wide rolling start. Ryan Carwile and Aaron Smith are 7th and 8th, with Tim Wire and Ian Giebel 9th and 10th. Sean Roberts and TJ Yankee are 11th and 12th after qualifying, with Alex Albert in 13th, Alex Harrison in 14th. Mark Kruger, probably the driver who lives closest to here based on what I know, 15th there. Carl Guillory 16th, Andrew Cosick 17th, Aaron Brown 18th, Aaron Reed 19th, and Colin Lounsbury in 20th there. He jumped ahead of this incredibly close group if you keep an eye on some of the lap times featured underneath the names. Just a couple tenths of a second between Zach Balthazar, Steve Hermé, Cameron Senhauser, Matt McGee, Kyle Lockrow and Orlando Herrell, and Brian Tidd, Cindy Pickett, Scott Grinnell, and Kevin Collins 30th. 4 more drivers with qualifying times are John Nicholford, Jeffrey Rockwell, Chris Gaxel, and CJ Miller, Bill Salen, and Stephen Schaefer with no qualifying time, as we said. Gigantic formation lap here at Watkins Glen. Hasn't even begun yet. What is the pace car speed? 60 miles an hour. And it's a beautiful pace car that we've got. The Ford Mustang FR 500S pacing the field at Watkins Glen. Polisek and Lincoln Fox on the front row of the grid. There goes our pace car driver. Here goes the field with our eyes on the pole sitter, Michael Polisek. And he spun out. And the pole sitter has spun out at turn 1 on the pace lap. And it's going to look to try to perhaps regain that spot, which I think he'll be able to do. Well, that's odd. Why do people keep crashing on formation laps in HJBC broadcasts, Devon?
It's because they get distracted by the smooth and sultry sound of your voice, David Haynes.
Yeah, well, hopefully they're not. They should have been listening to you, but they shouldn't have been listening to me. He's going to just sneak back up towards the pole position. This happened, at Laguna Seca the other week.
He just wanted to practice going 3 wide up the S's. That's really what it was, I'm sure. The radio is lighting up. Something hit the pace car. This is my favorite one so far. Maybe he was trying to bump draft the pace car going into turn 1. Who knows? Either way, we're hoping that the drivers will keep the noses clean for the rest of the race. Got a lot of quality drivers out here. And the top 10's got a lot of familiar faces in it, Haynes. Got Michael Polisek and Lincoln Fox, our 2 race winners for the season. 3 from Polisek, 1 from Fox. Jared Collins, who's been a contender all season long. I want to say that he's sitting in 3rd place in the points as well as 3rd place on the grid. Ryan Puchtel has been pretty competitive. He might be 4th on the grid, but he's 2nd in the points. And Bill Woods rounding out the top 5. He's 10th in the points and 5th in the grid, and he'll be looking for a good finish today. Of course, it's a big prize on the line for these guys, a season-long race. If they manage to to get themselves that overall championship, they will win the grand prize, which is a total of 2,000 champ bucks towards a real world race seat in the ChampCar iRacing series. And as they come through the final corners here, I'm sure that'll be top of mind for the front row.
I think almost absolutely everyone you see in that top 10 of points, you see here on the grid. For round 5 of the ChampCar iRacing series in 2025, it's Mazda's at Watkins Glen, a 1-hour race ahead of us, and the Ford Mustang pace car heads to pit road. The starter has the green flag and waves it now to start 60 minutes of racing. Pole sitter Michael Polasek back to the front of the grid. It's 3 wide, 4 wide. Behind them, an absolute mess heading down towards turn 1 on relatively cold tyres. Someone's shot down the inside a little bit there. I shudder to watch. And I can see 5 wide heading up towards the S's on this opening lap. Polasek still leading Lincoln Fox up the road.
Oh, they're doing a good job of sorting things out, but that was a hell of a move from Brian Tidd up the inside. He was all 4 tires off. That could have gone the wrong way, but it worked out in the end. They're 2 wide still, though, going up the S's and trying to look at 3 wide in a few places.
And right at the tail of the field, a couple of cars will come together. CJ Miller, Bill Salen, Jeffrey Rockwell. I think that's who that is in there. And Stephen Schaeff has had a problem as well.
Yeah.
Lincoln Fox takes the race lead out of the inner loop and down into the bus stop as well. So the pole sitter now down the inside of the laces of the boot here, with Jared Collins looking around the outside, making no ground there, dropping just back in front of Ryan Puchtel as the giant field of what you called them buzzing mosquitoes earlier head towards the toe of the boot. High average speeds on this racetrack, and that really benefits close racing in this car.
Yeah, it's a great track and car combination, and really just such a great track. It's hard to go wrong, but they're racing real tight all the way through the field. Dive and move there from Aaron Reed a few rows back from the start.
He's done that a couple of corners in a row. I'm pretty sure Aaron Reed is up something like 11 spots on this opening lap. Down the inside of turn 1, down the inside of the heel of the boot there. He is... I don't know how to describe that livery. But we'll pick him up as he's side by side with Tim Wire heading into the final corner, looking to complete lap 1. Lincoln Fox from second on the grid is going to lead us towards the line, but perhaps not lead us out of turn 1. Kyle Robertson's the car to the inside there, black and green alongside Aaron Smith, and diving down the inside for a position or 2 as there's a gigantic checkup heading towards the apex of turn 1, and Lincoln Fox will still lead.
Yeah, Tim Wire perhaps a little distracted by the loss of team principal. Was rather hung out to dry by Aaron Reed in the final corner. He's given up a few spots now as the field gets lined up, and now Aaron Brown and that's Ian Giebler pushed past him for 10th and 11th place.
So about to launch across the curbs of the inner loop. 2 wide, they stack up on the way in. He was able to actually carry some momentum here. There is no break in the field from the race leader to 27th place, John Nicholford. An unbroken train of Mazdas right now on lap 2. So who else is making a bit of progress? Kyle Lockrow from 25th to 15th in this group. Some drivers getting their elbows out, able to gain quite a few positions at this stage of the race. We'll see at the end of this lap if the pace that the top 3 are setting is representative of what they did in qualifying, or if there's some games here.
Yeah, qualifying around a track like this with the amount of draft is a safety thing. We got one off, Haynes.
Yeah, Kyle Lockrow, and I'm not sure who that's been
Robertson.
Contact with.
Looked like Robertson and Bill Woods got together. Oh, and we got another couple. Oh, no. Oh.
Oh my goodness. A couple of spun cars. It's narrow at the top of the hill there. And there's now a lot of damaged cars. So there was contact between Kruger and Wire. I think that's Alex Harrison's gone in. And then it's
Yeah.
Talladega.
I've seen that video before. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the big one. And I was just saying that it's qualifying at a track like this is about safety sometimes. It's just avoiding the chaos that happens deep in the field. You knew it wasn't going to go 1st to 27th for the whole race. Now it's 1 through 10 that'll be battling for the lead.
And while pole was a 207.1, the first flying race lap of the leader was a 213. So, yeah, I'm not sure there. Jared Collins is going to look for the race lead on Lincoln Fox. Foxel in behind. That might be Bill Salen the lap down there.
Yeah, we got a bunch of cars getting towed to the pit lane for repairs. On the bright side, there'll be quick repairs.
Jared Collins is going to use a bit of the toe here to try to make a break for it. He's got 1.2 seconds on Lincoln Fox and Michael Polasek. And then the rest of the field working their way through the toe of the boot there.
Yeah, it's still busy. Still busy at the top. I think Polasek's keeping his eye peeled, though, on the front. Because he knows that Collins got the pace to be a problem if he gets too far away and they still are battling behind. Lincoln Fox doesn't like to give it up easy, though.
Well, they're going to go side by side again a couple of times here. Michael Polasek side by side with Lincoln Fox. Jared Collins race lead gets out to 1.9 seconds. As Fox and Polasek go side by side through the final corner. Ryan Puxel might get boxed in here and crossing the start-finish line. Jared Collins' lead is 2.2 seconds. So Collins is going to make a move here, and that is the pace we were expecting, a 207.9.
Yeah, being the first one to get a few corners without interference, though, is going to have helped him. And we'll see. If the pack gets a little bit of momentum here, this gap to Polasek could disappear really quickly. But the same can't be said for the gap to Polasek, from Polasek to Collins. Too wide, pushing on the inside is Bill Woods giving a shove to Ryan Puchtel, and the two of them will go flying past Michael Polasek into the bus stop.
Well, this has been an incredible shame for a lot of the damaged cars that we saw inside of the top 20. Luckily for them, though, the way that the 60-minute race in ChampCar iRacing series worked is everyone started with 4.3 gallons. Those drivers, they made their way to pit lane and took their fast repair, be able to fuel their Mazda to get all the way to the end from there. So there's a few of them that if they've got a bit of pace, something to keep an eye on when this pack of drivers need to pit. TJ Yankee, Kyle Guillory and Zach Balthazar, some of the highest running drivers that have stopped and look like they've taken enough fuel to get to the end. The pace in the leading 10 cars has changed. Jared Collins race lead 2.7 seconds, and then no gaps to be found between 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Now Ryan Puchtel leading this pursuing pack.
Yeah, and it's a classic Miata pack, just nose to tail. And everyone's working hard. You know, you're kind of seeing it, just little slides here and there, diving it into the corner. But that gap seems to be growing a little bit more, 2.7 seconds this time at the line from Collins back to second place.
And personal best lap times being set as they pick up that pace.
Yeah, Collins is going to have a bit of a situation here, though. He's coming up the S's, and he might catch the back of some lap traffic. that chaos on lap 1 has left a few guys out there straggling. And if he catches a bit of draft at the right point, it'll help a lot. But if he catches him in the toe of the boot, it might not. Meanwhile, they're going too wide into the bus stop again.
Yeah, another change for second place. Boxes around. 3 cars are into the wall.
Aaron Smith, Fox, and Alex Albert. And Alex Albert, I think, catches a little bit of toe damage on the rear. That's unfortunate for him. And just 2 into 1 sometimes is no fun. That's what we saw there.
How's the ricochet? What kind of springs are they putting into the tire bundle there?
Yeah, that was interesting. That might have been a little bit of physics engine confusion. We'll see if we get another shot of it here. Bounce, touch.
Tiny touch with Pucktel.
Doesn't take much there though, but boom. Yeah, that was something.
I've seen the thing when you take a basketball and a tennis ball and you put the tennis ball on top
Yeah.
and you drop it and that's what that looked like, weirdly, as the 3 cars went into the tyre barrier together. So Polisek goes to second, Ryan Pucktel goes to third.
And I was going to say, Polisek's got to be feeling good about this because he had a little bit better pace than Collins in the qualifying session. And so if he can navigate the traffic, and we've seen him do it before, he'll be feeling good about his chances to catch up to Collins. Collins currently having to navigate some traffic as we watch the battle for 4th place here. As Bill Woods, Ryan Carwell, and Ian Giebler all lined up nose to tail, 4th through 6th. And suddenly it's starting to feel a bit like a ChampCar race in the 5th hour, where you just got traffic all over the place to navigate. Got to keep your head on a swivel.
This is, of course, the fastest part of the racetrack from turn 1 uphill through the S's and towards the inner loop. So it's the part of the racetrack with the most slipstreaming effect for these cars. And Bill Woods went to push Ryan Pucktel, try to get him closer to Michael Polisek. Polisek, the pole sitter, seems to have the pace to just slowly close in Jared Collins. Here goes Alex Albert and Aaron Brown. We'll get a race off the pit road there, and Alex Albert will win that race.
It's not his first time coming out of the pit lane. Nicely done. So with all the traffic, last time by was 2.9 from Collins to Polisek. And we'll see what that ends up being as we ride on board here with, that's the likes of Collins, yeah. And he's chasing down some lap traffic. And at the line, it'll be about 2.7 seconds this time. So just little bites right now. Little bites out of that lead from Polisek. But there is battles kind of forming up the way they do in Miata Land. Kind of forming up all the way through the top 10.
How about 7th? Orlando Herald plus 19 spots, Cameron Senhauser plus 15, Colin Lounsbury plus 11. These are drivers who I think might have been just towards the tail of the big wreck coming out of the boot and have snuck their way through. Cameron Senhauser's got, of course, an almighty run of speed up the S's and in the toe on Orlando Herald, and puts front bumper to rear bumper and gives him a bit more speed down straight towards the inner loop.
Yeah. Lounsbury has had some quick races, some quick finishes, so it's not just a Hendrick livery, it's a quality driver too.
And then also 2 Canadians and a Midwesterner walk into a bar. It's Steve Hermé, Matt McGee, and Kevin Collins.
Oh, and they're having a good time.
Help that bar. I hope it's stocked.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully they didn't do it before the race. Judging by the way they managed to gain, what is this, plus 12, plus 13, plus 18? I'm thinking they didn't. And I'm wondering if there's, I'm pretty sure there's a familial connection between 12th place Kevin Collins here and first place Jared Collins, right?
Yeah, I think so. They're a Collins class.
Pretty sure.
Funny to Australians, but whatever. Brian Tidd and Cindy Pickett, 2 Canadians together, 13th and 14th, just behind this as well. There's Pickett, there's Tidd.
Yeah, 2 more Canadians having a good time. And it's good and fair between them, Haynes. They're both up 14 spots. Just how we like it.
Yeah, and there's only one other driver that hasn't stopped to this point, 15th place Andy Kosick. Everyone from 16th on down once through the lane or twice in Mark Kruger's case, unfortunately.
Yeah, less is more on the pit lane if you can help it.
Yeah, usually true. This is the highest running cars that have stopped at the moment. Aaron Brown and Alex Albert. So both of them able to drive onto the pit lane, take their service and drive off. So they're ahead of some of the others. Polasek almost within a second of Jared Collins for the lead of the race. Oh, and closing significantly through this part of the lap. They've got 5 seconds on third place, Ryan Puxel ahead of Bill Woods and Ryan Carwile. I think Woods was pushing Puxel as well in that group. So you see your top 5 in shot for a brief moment. It's Jared Collins' race lead that at one point was 3 seconds. Gets eroded by Polasek.
I do wonder, there was a lot of game playing on the opening laps. Drivers not wanting to lead. That I think caused some of the stacking up at the front. I'm curious to see once Polasek gets right into the draft, if Collins decides he doesn't want to lead anymore, or how that's all going to play out. There's some potential advantage for Collins being in a Taco Bell car, keeping a guy behind him. But, you know.
I've seen you eat Taco Bell. Yeah, here's a little bit of Ryan Carwile pushing Bill Woods to stay in contact with Ryan Puxel. Your top 5 cross the line, and the fastest driver is definitely Michael Polasek because he gets to now 7 tenths and closing quickly on Jared Collins through the S's and towards the end of the straight. The speed difference is significant. It's almost 3-4 miles an hour right now. And what was a 1 second gap now looks like a 3/10 of a second gap by the end of the straight.
And Polasek gives it a big old lift into the S's. Or into the chicane there. I don't even think he wants to sniff an overtake. He just wants to save some fuel from that big push it took to scrape back 3 seconds worth of lead from Jared Collins. And the clouds come out.
I think it's something like a 2% chance of rain. Well, there's absolutely nothing on the radar, and now a 0% chance of rain. So just mostly cloudy. It's gone from partly cloudy to mostly cloudy, so a bit more cloud covers come over. The track, as you said, still holding some heat though.
Yeah, shockingly warm on the surface, despite an ambient temperature in the 60s.
Oh, it makes you want to be like a lizard or something. Great day to be a reptile. Overcast, but you can find yourself plenty of warm rocks.
Yep.
It's the race lead, Jared Collins and Michael Polasek. 20 minutes of racing done. It's a big lap for these cars around the full layout of Watkins Glen boot. Just over 2 minutes. And this is sort of where Michael Polasek will get the big run up. Following the car in front up through the S's, now doing 3 miles an hour faster already.
But let's see if we can listen in this time. Because last time he didn't want to have anything to do with overtaking him. This time it's a push.
Yeah, well, that's a Taco Bell drive-through, isn't it?
He lifts at 500. Rolls out of it. Just to give himself some space. But you can see 3rd, 4th, 5th place are all gathered up together and gathering some steam. And they had pretty decent laps last time by just a couple tenths off the lead. If they can get that threesome sorted out, I bet you they could get right on to that lead pack.
On a Friday night in Columbus, Ohio, I saw a first date taking place inside of a Taco Bell, and I still think about that from time to time. Where did that lead?
Wonderful.
They're still together.
Maybe they're fans. There's no way to know.
It's a city of so much character. I really must go back. Jared Collins, Michael Polasek leading, with Polasek just giving Collins a bit more rope this time. This is 3rd, 4th and 5th here between Puctal Woods and Carwile. He and Giebler all on his lonesome in 6th place.
And we're watching now a 7th place. We got, this is Harrell leading with the striped car. Lounsbury. Nope, sorry, I got that wrong. That's Rockwell in the striped car. It's Harrell in the white car and Lounsbury in the Hendrick car. So they're coming up on some lap traffic here. And Orlando Harrell has understood the assignment because he has tire rack written.
No, he doesn't.
That car.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, what does it say?
I don't know what exactly he's got going on, but I appreciate the spirit.
But the two of them are putting together some good laps, pushing through the field. There's actually a bunch of cars out there that are running pretty quick ones. Collins and Polasek are still the only ones touching the 7s. Outside of that, though, I think my pick for biggest movers in the second half of the race has to be Aaron Smith and Kyle Robertson, who are right now lapping in 23rd and 24th place. Smith's had 2 pit stops. But the two of them last time by were running 208s, which puts them on pace with the top 5. But they're way back there after getting involved in one of those accidents early in the race. But with the way the fuel cell works here, I have a feeling that they'll be able to make up some ground and maybe push for a top 10 finish. We'll see. But there's going to be a lot to be decided in the second half of this race. And we're almost coming up on that with 35 minutes to go. You seen any other interesting battles out there, Haynes?
Unfortunately, our field is very quickly became rather splintered.
Well, there's always somebody hustling. We're watching one of the Salen's cars here.
It's going to be Wire, Sean Roberts and Aaron Reed, I reckon. Sean Roberts will drop in between Tim Wire and Aaron Reed.
With confidence. Seeing a couple pit takers on the front straight, and these might even be scheduled. We got Brian Tidd and Cindy Picot hitting the lane. A little bit of Canadian teamwork happening. Keep their drafting partner going. And they even followed in a third Canadian, Mac G.
A lot of fuel for MCG because he's got a black flag, probably for speeding on pit lane. So he's going to be beaten away by Brian Tidd and Cindy Pickett when the time comes, which is about now. There they go, and there stays Matt McGee.
Tough. Back on track, I'm watching Alex Albert going too wide up the S's. He just put a nice little draft move around the outside Aaron Brown. We're catching the end of it here. We'll see if Aaron decides to fight back or he keeps that M&M car in the draft. And with that kind of lift going into the bus stop, I'm thinking he's going to ride in the draft. Oh, boy. Leapt the whole curb, though. It's a little bit tough. You sit so low in these Miatas. The sight lines aren't great coming through the chicane there. You never know exactly where you are. That's Menard's
Lincoln
car.
Fox will be working through the field, potentially catching Zach Balthazar and Alex Harrison. There's a couple more drivers from up front that haven't stopped yet are stopping. I think it's getting pretty close to stop time. Colin Lounsbury and Cameron Sennhauser in. There's Lounsbury getting a bit of repairs done as well. There's Sennhauser getting a bit of fuel and tyres done. Top five still haven't stopped. Jared Collins, Michael Polisek, Ryan Puchtel, Bill Woods and Ryan Carwile. Gap between the top two in this trio just growing slightly despite the best efforts of Ryan Carwile to push Bill Woods and Bill Woods to push Ryan Puchtel.
You see a couple different lines there through the laces. I think that's one of the trickiest corners on the track, downhill, and just got to arc it in there without losing too much.
These are some long stops from Lounsbury and Sennhauser, over 40 seconds each. You'll see out on the track, TJ Yankee, I think, go by them.
Yeah. Yankee only stopped for 30 seconds, so either that's some bad math or some very different math going on. Yankee does have a background, raced with Drive Trainer, but raced some FSAE back in the day, so you'd think that guy knows how to do a little bit of math.
Jared Collins pits from up front. I think from the lead of the race. Michael Polisek continues through into the lead of the race. A couple of other drivers are going to pit. Ian Giebler, I think Orlando Harrell as well. So what is the optimal pit stop time here? We've seen 30 seconds from Aaron Brown. We've seen 42 from Colin Lounsbury. We've seen 24 and a half from Kyle Guillory. And we're about to learn from Jared Collins.
We'll have to see. I don't think... I mean, we're seeing tires going on, but I don't know if an overcut or an undercut's going to be the winner here. Interesting.
Collins approaching 30 seconds now. 32, 33, 34.
So how's that going to play out? We'll have to see. We'll have to see once Polisek filters through. Polisek's got an open road ahead of them, though. And unfortunately for Collins, he's going to be coming back into a little bit of traffic. Oh, no. Ryan Puckdell's just had a moment. And a moment that he's found his way all the way into the wall. And a lap after I said that the laces were a tricky corner, he lived up to it. Just gets a little loose in the middle and all of a sudden overcorrects into the outside wall.
Bill Woods and Ryan Carwile are lucky that they snuck through there, as well as there's obviously significant problems for Ryan Puckdell. So probably expecting Polasek, Bill Woods, Ryan Carwile, and Andrew Kosick to pit, the 4 drivers that haven't yet. These guys go on.
Yeah. Well, and the drivers were saying that the track was a little slippy, and I think it showed it there.
So what's the race leader going to do? Michael Polasek saw Jared Collins pit a lap ago, and now Michael Polasek pits. Comparison pit stop time, 34 seconds for Jared Collins.
Bill Woods and Ryan Carwile hit the lane too. It's 3rd and 4th, and Jared Collins is going to come around the toe with Ian Giebler just behind. And we'll see how long is Polasek going to be stationary for.
Initially looking like he's getting similar service to Jared Collins. So the same thing happening in the background. Okay, right side of the car goes up as well for Michael Polasek, who's just approaching 20 seconds now, so plenty of time left here. I think we're going to see under 34, though. We're going to see 28 seconds. That's a big delta between Polasek and Jared Collins. I think Michael Polasek will come out and still have the race lead, but by some margin. But we've got 29 minutes and perhaps a little rounding to go. Michael Polasek might be all alone and using more fuel than you did in the first half of the race. If the track cools off, if the air cools off, and you're not slipstreaming on anyone, your fuel burn will be significantly higher.
And interestingly, I mean, Bill Woods, Ryan Carwile, Jared Collins are all right around that 34-second mark. So Polasek's done some sort of different math. Either he's just sipping fuel and he's managed to save 6 seconds worth, or I don't know what. Jared Collins is not lifting. I don't know if we can get a shot of him going through the bus stop just there on his outlap. I think he nearly took the mirror off the thing on the inside of the corner on the turn-in, because he was right up against the wall. Let's see if we can get it here. Will we get it? He's real tight. You'll see him turning super early here. Sliding to the apex. Wow. Yeah, he barely kept that thing off the wall. So treacherous conditions on the cold tires, even though the track is smoking hot out there. 97 Fahrenheit now.
Here's our next group of drivers as well. So Andy Kosick hasn't pitted. Only driver that hasn't pitted. Bill Woods and Ryan Carwile just behind. Let's check that thing post-race for Most Mint Racing. That's something to look out for ahead for Bill Woods and Ryan Carwile here, if they're aware that Andy Kosick hasn't stopped yet, and probably is. It is an odd pit entry here at Watkins Glen, just based on where it is on the inside of the final corner.
Yeah, I do wonder if
maybe
they'll ever...
I've misread something about Andy Kosick here. What's going on?
My telemetry agrees with you, Haynes. It says he hasn't, so...
Well, that says an entirely reasonable 56-second lane, 28-second stop there.
Maybe he was caught up in that lap 1 wreck, so it's not reading right, but who knows? We'll have to see.
It doesn't make any sense to me, but
yeah,
there we go. Gap remains 6.6 seconds between Polasek and Collins. So it's got to be some clean air pace for Polasek at the moment and Jared Collins as well. And in that, Michael Polasek was the pole sitter, demonstrated superior solo pace.
Oof. And TJ Yankees just had a real bad time through the bus stop this time. Went in too wide with, that's the Orlando Harrell's car. And we'll see him coming down the straight. Harrell pops out up the inside and is going to outbrake him in the braking zone. But because he's offline, Yankee just can't quite get it right and is struggling the whole way through. And then he comes to the laces. You see him. He comes to the laces, if you jump ahead just a few seconds, and he finds another obstacle on his road because Colin Lounsbury, who's just up the road from him, is going to have a terrible time through the laces. Lounsbury's going to turn it in here. You see him on the left-hand side of the screen. He turns into the corner and just gets loose and can't catch it. And he's parked on the apex, and Yankee has to take evasive action. So there's, it's, it's not quiet out there, even though the guys are a little bit separated. And Harrison and Sennhauser here are going to show us another way to get it wrong through the bus stop. Oh, this looks familiar. Yeah, sure enough. Oh, and who's that around the outside? Nearly takes it. I think that's a French kiss, Haynes, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's some go-kart looking stuff right there. Guys wrapping tires up on top of each other. Woo. Well, the simulator does a lot of things well, but the collision detection looks a little funky tonight. Overcast again, so we'll see a couple corners of fast laps.
What lap does your stuff say Andy Kosick pitted? Because if he pitted at the end of the first lap, that could be very clever. The field was backed up and slow.
Truthfully. I'll have to go back and take a look.
Here's a group coming together. It's Zach Balthazar, Kyle Guillory, Colin Lounsbury, Kyle Robertson, Aaron Smith pushing Kyle Robertson. Now going side by side with Lounsbury, with Steve Herman and Kevin Collins behind. Kevin should find Jeffrey, and then we can have a Rockwell Collins booster.
I like it.
Kyle versus Kyle, and Robertson goes ahead of Guillory.
And things have all of a sudden, gathered all up. That's Kevin Collins on the back of that pack too. So trying to make his way closer to the progeny who's running second.
Some groups starting to come back together. Tim Wire leading the next group. Aaron Reed leading the group after that. There goes Aaron Smith. Past Kyle Guillory, so he's trying to stick with Kyle Robertson, who's now monstering Zach Balthazar.
Yeah, he's right there, but it doesn't look like he's making a move right now. We'll see. Looks more like a push. I did circle Aaron Smith as a guy to watch come through the field because he's got some good pace. And Robertson seeing maybe something you hate to see, the friendly car ahead de-syncing and disappearing a little bit. Robertson takes the defensive line. Smith's going to enter a little bit wide. Because Balthazar's going to enter real wide. And holds the outside, which will become the inside here into the toe. Robertson now making a lunge up the inside, and he's going to make that move stick. That's nicely done. Zach Balthazar forced wide. And he's going to have to let two by with Aaron Smith getting a bit of run. Or is he? Balthazar taking the wide line, coming off the top of the corner. And even with the draft on the inside, he's going to have a little bit of pace. But Smith's going to be able to get it done this time at the heel.
Two Mazdas together is stronger.
Yes, it's like trains. Yeah, more engines. Aerodynamics, probably.
I mean, it's physics. It's multiple unit operation. So
I'll
20 minutes to go.
Down the train path. Otherwise, we might be here a while.
Yeah, 20 minutes to go means 10 laps to go for these groups.
Yeah, and not seeing any slowdown in pace from the front of the field. It must be said. Mike Polasek last time by a 2:08.169. Jared Collins a 2:08.109. So not taking much of anything at all out of the lead, despite the fact that Polasek was able to take 6 seconds less of fuel. Third and fourth are still battling. That's Carwile and Woods. They're going back and forth. And Andy Cossack, who, the more we look at it, the more it looks like he might have done a very wily thing and stopped on lap one, is cruising along in 5th place with some real good strategy, and a little gap between him and Giebler just behind to Nickelford and Schaefer, who are a lap behind. And then it's going to be Aaron Brown and Alex Albert, as we see here on camera, 8th and 7th and 8th. And rounding out the top 10, we got Orlando Harrell and TJ Yankee, who are coming together themselves. 12th and 13th, Aaron Smith and Kyle Robertson taking their lines through. The two of them were connected earlier in the race and pushing. And the two of them at the front now of this little pack are getting away with some stuff. Speaking of, Colin Lounsbury is trying to follow. He gets up the inside of Zach Balthazar. Oh, no. I just saw that. And I think that was just getting it a little wrong. Turns in, a little offline, a little bit in the marbles. It's a hard car to catch today. Short wheelbase, real light. And Lincoln Fox is going to have to take that Mosquito back to the garage, potentially. He did hit pretty square, so he might get away with it. Yeah, he won't do it this time. But he will let Brian Tidd up the inside.
Doesn't look like it's tracking exactly straight. Aaron Smith behind Kyle Robertson, trying to break free of the rest of the group by the looks of things, but Colin Lounsbury got by Zach Balthazar last lap and now closes in on them.
Oof. They're confident over the curbs. These guys are running those Penske shocks, you know, throwing them over the curbs like that.
Yeah, and getting them serviced all frequently.
Got to keep them fresh.
That's wide. That's the grass.
Whoa.
That's a little bit of time lost from Aaron Smith.
Yeah, there's a little bit of pace to be found if you can get the wide line exit just right, as we saw from Balthazar just a few laps ago, but that was a little wider than wide. And again, this is looking like IndyCar Circuit of the Americas, or probably at Watkins Glen.
That's one of the things I've been on the soapbox before, is that the way track limits are enforced are rigid to the track, not the series in iRacing. So it is NASCAR track limits at here and Circuit of the Americas.
For better and for worse.
I mean, predominantly for worse in any series that isn't the NASCAR Cup Series.
If they pave it, you should drive on it. That's what I think.
That's Canadian prairie man talking.
Man, that was a wicked run. Aaron Brown just got through the bus stop. If he can do that on the last lap, Alex Albert won't have much of a chance to catch up. But that's sort of where the eyes got to be looking at this point in the race. 15 minutes to go, and everyone, I think, is just starting to time up the runs and figure out what little gains they can make on the last lap.
Lounsbury makes a gain on Aaron Smith. Now looks a little closer to Kyle Robertson. This three getting away from Zach Balthazar, Carl Guillory, and Steve Hermé for sure.
Yeah, and if they keep up the kind of pace they're showing, even with a little battle, they're gaining ground on TJ Yankee and Orlando Harrell. So a top 10 finish might not be out of the equation. We are points racing out here. Of course, all the drivers here also hoping, I think, to be the lucky one drawn from the door prize draw. That's right, you don't have to be fast to win in the ChampCar iRacing Series. Just by showing up for races 5 to 8, these guys will be entered in to win 250 champ bucks. And we've got a whole host of folks that showed up for races 1 to 4. And after the race here tonight, we're going to do a draw for the winner of the first set of 4 races to see who wins 250 champ bucks towards their racing efforts this season. Big thanks to the ChampCar iRacing Series, to the ChampCar Endurance Series for sponsoring the iRacing Series. And Aaron Smith going to make a move here into turn number 1. He makes it look easy.
Yeah, so Lounsbury and Robertson will head door to door up through the S's. Robertson will get slightly ahead, I think. But then both of them carry a lot of speed towards Aaron Smith. Zach Balthazar with a bit of speed as well. TJ Yankee's around just ahead of this group. Oh, at the toe of the boot here.
Well, that's not
there, man, not fun at all.
No flagger.
At toe of the boot, I meant laces.
And you'll see it. It's the same struggle as always. And the lace is just a little loose on the entry. And the track's just so scalding hot out there today. He's stuck.
Hate when my laces are loose on the entry and tight on the exit.
So it tends to go around here.
Yeah, he was very smart because he saw what was coming and just waited it out. This is a little problematic for Aaron Smith going around the outside of the traffic. Kyle Robertson following. Just 6 more laps to go. The leaders cross the start-finish line. The gap's out to 9.3 seconds. So Michael Polasek still lapping faster than Jared Collins, despite having what we think is 6 seconds less of fuel on board.
Not just 6 seconds less than second place, 6 seconds less than the whole top 5. So we'll have to see.
We'll see if the pace that Polisek's currently doing holds up to the final couple of laps.
Yeah, we are pretty firmly at 5 laps. I think he'd have to be pretty tricky to make that any shorter.
Third and fourth right here.
Yeah, they've just been in each other's wheel tracks, it feels like, for half the race. Neither one really gaining or losing an edge. And within just a hundredths of a second of each other over the last 5 laps. Just gain a little here, lose a little there. Ian Giebler coming past the lapped car of CJ Miller, trying to keep some distance between himself and Andy Kosick.
Yeah, it's not helping Andy, is it? He had Bill Woods and Ryan Carwile go by and wasn't able to stick with them. Ian Giebler caught up to him and now looks like he will break away.
Kosick makes a nice dive to the inside there. A little bit of help from the lap car too. And CJ and Chris will be free to continue their battle. Those two have actually been having a pretty good back and forth. This is Chris Gaskell in the green car, and CJ Miller in the blue and yellow car. And the two of them have been back and forth a few times. And CJ's thinking about a move into the bus stop. I think he thinks better of it. Nothing saying you can't do it, but common sense in the ChampCar iRacing Series. One battle that sorted itself out in the last few minutes here is the battle between Alex Albert and Aaron Brown. I didn't catch it on my screen, but last time by, Aaron Brown lost about 7 seconds to Alex Albert.
He had a spin somewhere, but like a 360 and continue type situation.
Yeah. Either way, if Alex Albert keeps the thing pointing the right way, we'll see it here maybe. Yeah, we got Albert pushing into the bus stop. The two of them were working well together. And remember, Aaron had that really aggressive line, and it eventually came and bit. Ooh, and he was lucky to get away with very little damage there. But that mistake will have given Alex Albert a bit of an advantage that'll be hard to overcome without a mistake in the closing laps here. And Aaron Smith and the gang from 11th through 13th are going to be doing their best to chase down Orlando Harrell on the outside of the top 10. Looking in, are they?
Tell you what, I need a pizza stone made out of the track surface here because it is holding so much heat. You can see how dark it's become. It's been cloudy the whole time. The track just refuses to cool off too much, keeping a lot of temperature.
Does make a guy wonder where they're getting the temperature from. Thermometer placements can be a bit variable, but it is a very hot track out there today.
So this is now for inside of the top 10, Aaron Smith, Kyle Robertson, Colin Lounsbury.
Yeah, all fighting over the back of the top 10. And Kyle Robertson qualified 6th, Aaron Smith 8th. So 2 guys with some real pace. And with 3 laps to go, they'll be putting it all on the line. If you're thinking that this one looks like a good time, is good news. Of course, in the ChampCar series in the real world, you can come out, rent a seat, and go race at Watkins Glen. And you might even go faster.
One the other day. I think I saw a seat available at Atlanta Speedworks.
That'd be a good time. Motorsport Park, you mean?
No, Atlanta Speedworks.
Oh, at Speedworks. Okay. I gotta go check the schedule.
There's a team called Atlanta Speedworks that were offering a seat in their car.
I figured it out. Yeah, there's always arrive and drives posted on the website and on the Facebook group. And in just a couple weekends, there'll be a much more varied field of cars lapping the double down at the Glen, doing back-to-back 7s. Kyle Robertson gonna give one more push. 2 laps to go. Time for action is soon, though. And Lounsbury just doing his best to look threatening. And at the front, Michael Polisek is still pulling away. 10 seconds now, but we'll keep our eyes on this battle.
Even with Kyle Robertson pushing Aaron Smith, Colin Lounsbury gained big time on them, heading up the hill towards the inner loop.
And if you're at that right distance, having 2 cars ahead can be a blessing because you can just draft and never really get any closer, but gain tons and tons of momentum up the hill. These things being so power limited, you know?
Decent pace these guys are running. Could catch Orlando Herald still. Going about a second a lap faster than him with 3 seconds to go.
Bill Woods moved to the middle of the track, that time up the hill, and hops the curb real strong through the bus stop. And gets the push from Carwile that time. And we'll see. These two have been real close together, but we have not seen Carwile find a way to make the move. Will he live up to, that's the Aggie on the hood? My American football mascots.
Man.
Oh.
Even I know you got yourself in trouble there.
Will he live up to the logo on the hood? How about that?
Think you might have just tried to put a bit of Texas on Virginia. I don't think either side will forgive you.
Yeah, we'll have to see. He won't get to complain about it, though, unless he gets into the top 3 with how the podium interviews work. So we'll just have to see if he figures it out. Coming down to the white flag here.
Yep, so starting the final lap, Michael Polisek with a 12-second lead. No sign of letting up at all. Over Jared Collins, who came out of his pit stop about 6 seconds behind, now about 12 seconds behind. And Bill Woods and Ryan Carwile could get a little interesting there. Woods ahead at the moment.
Making the
It
move.
absolutely could get interesting. Huge amount of momentum for Ryan Carwile to get ahead and look to go around the outside, but they'll be absolutely door-to-door through the inner loop, and Woods stays in a podium spot for now.
Oh, that was close. Those two lines converged, and Carwile had to lift out a little bit. And now he's going to have to find his way back onto that rear bumper in time to try and make a pass. I don't know where he's going to be able to do it.
Well, for Michael Polisek leading the race, this is perfection from the pole sitter.
Yeah, there was a moment where it wasn't a sure thing, but Ryan Carwile is going to do his best to try and get to the pole or get to the podium. But there's a lot of car lengths between him and the third place car, Bill Woods.
So for another win in 2025 in the ChampCar iRacing Series, Michael Polisek's going to win at Watkins Glen. It's 12 seconds ahead of Jared Collins, now out of the final corner.
And we come back to our battle for third place. Carwile getting close through the final corner, but he's not going to have a shot. Even with Bill Woods weaving a little bit, it's going to be third place to Monster and fourth place to some unknown university that will remain unknown. Fifth place going to Ian Giebler, who crosses the line. Andy Kosick with a crafty pit strategy is going to take sixth. Alex Albert survives and manages to avoid drama and holds on to seventh place. Aaron Brown in the M&M car, round in the final corners, is going to be taken eighth. Orlando Harrell will be coming behind him to the line after Brown. And then Aaron Smith will lead the battle pack from 10th through 12th with Colin Lounsbury making a pass on the last lap, getting ahead of Kyle Robertson. Zach Balthasar hits the lane in 13th. And it'll be Tim Wire coming to the line. There might have been a little bit of a tangle in there. Tim Wire coming to the line, though, 13th place. And I'm seeing Stephen Ermetz in 16th coming to the line. He's going to make a few spots, though. Yeah, and I think a couple cars might have gotten tangled up on the final lap there. That'll be Stephen Ermetz in 14th, Sean Robertson 15th. Cameron Sennhauser taking 16th. 17th is Brian Tidd, Cindy Picott in 18th, Matt McGee in 19th, and Aaron Reed in 20th place. And the final car on the lead lap will be Alex Harrison.
It's complicated by a number of things, like Aaron Reed picks up his 25th incident point on the final lap.
That's what it was. Okay.
So, I'm pretty sure this is it now.
Yeah, looks right to this guy.
Michael Polisek from Jared Collins and Bill Woods, Ryan Carwile, Ian Giebler, Andy Kosick, Alex Albert, Aaron Brown, Orlando Harrell, and Aaron Smith. Colin Lounsbury, Kyle Robertson, Tim Wire, Steve Hermé, Sean Roberts, Cameron Sennhauser, Brian Tidd, Cindy Pickett, Matt McGee with the same helmet, and Aaron Reed in 20th. see. Yes,
Yeah.
he will be last car on the lead lap with Zach Balthazar 1 lap down, Alex Harrison as well, Lincoln Fox, Mark Kruger, John Nickleford, CJ Miller, Chris Gaxel, Kyle Guillory, Stephen Schaefer, Scott Grinnell, Bill Salen, Jeffrey Rockwell, the last car on the lead lap, Kevin Collins 5 laps down, TJ Yankee 6 laps down, leader completed 29 laps, so Ryan Puckdell 15 laps down, I think misses out on going into the draw. Same for Kyle Lockrow, 27 laps down.
Got to be there for at least half the race in order to make it work.
Well, that was certainly wild at times at Watkins Glen. Plenty of pack racing.
Yeah.
And our podium will eventually come by. Third place, Bill Woods. Hopefully join us in a sec here. Got us, Bill?
Yep, I'm with you.
Well, what did you see for 60 minutes there at Watkins Glen?
A lot of cars sideways. It was a fun race. Don't know. It was a lot of crashes, unfortunately. I think I caused one with Kyle, and I think it was the second lap. And I don't know. I got to go back and watch it, but we were really close, and I think I nicked his wheel. It spun him around, so I feel terrible about that. But it was a fun race.
And half of it with Ryan Carwile there. You had to sort that one out at the end.
Oh yeah, he was all over me the entire race. I figured he was going to try something on the last lap, so we went through the chicane side by side. That was interesting, and it was super clean. He was a great guy to race with. He never pushed me out of the way, which he could have, and he never did. So I appreciate it.
Well, been a little bit of a break since the furious run of 4 races at the start of the season. Great to have you back.
Appreciate it. Good league to race with.
We'll catch you next time, Bill. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Got the whole podium, Devon, and second place, Jared Collins.
Yeah, and Jared Collins had a little bit of excitement in the first stint, a little bit of a breakaway, but he would eventually get run down. How was it feeling there in the early phases of the race?
The first lap or two was really hectic. I think Lincoln Fox was, obviously trying to save fuel, and so was everybody else. Everyone was fighting to not be first and break away. And then I saw the first full lap we were, 3-4 seconds off the pace. And so I was like, guys were stacking up. I was afraid I was going to get run into from behind. So I just said, screw it, I'm going to go for it. And fortunately, I made the pass into the bus stop. And I think everyone kind of got checked up in the bus stop. And that was enough to break the tow and kind of separate myself from the field. So I was really excited about that. Obviously, Polasek had quite a bit of pace, but it was nice to break away from the peloton, let's say.
Well, and you managed to hold on to it. It was a pretty solid race for you, though, and it must have at times felt a little bit lonely after you broke away from the pack.
Yeah, after the pit stop in particular, I definitely felt like I was on an island. Had to make sure I stayed focused. There's some places on the track that'll come out and bite you. And when you're not directly battling somebody, it's easy to lose your focus for a little bit, and that'll really bite you.
Well, you managed to do a great job of it and to hold on to second place, a quality finish there. And with Puckdell having a bad one, I have a feeling that might put you up into second place in the points.
Thank you. I hope so. I think I'm battling for best of the rest this year. I think Polasek's got quite a bit of pace, but hopefully I can put myself in position if he has some bad luck or misses some races. Maybe I can capitalize. So. Yeah, that's excellent if I am in second. I'm really proud of that.
Cheers to you and cheers to a good race. Anyone you need to shout out tonight?
You guys, thanks for putting on the league. ChampCar, obviously, for supporting it, and TireRack. Taco Bell for paying for my entry fees this week. It was really nice to to support them with delivery. So, yeah. Thank you guys for putting it on, and ChampCar for letting us do this. It's really fun.
Cheers to that.
And the race winner, Michael Polasek, joins us. Well, you managed to break away in the second half, but the first couple of laps didn't look like anyone was planning on trying to do so.
No, with the draft, with how strong the draft these cars have, you just can't do that, unfortunately. So it's just a matter of hopefully finding that one sacrificial lamb that wants to lead, and then everybody else could follow. And Jared seemed like he wanted to lead, and I was hoping that Lincoln was going to catch up to him. Unfortunately, he didn't, so I had to fight him, and he fought me pretty hard. Unfortunately, by the time I got past him, he was like maybe 2 seconds up and out of draft range. So I was in a pretty difficult spot where I could lead and sacrifice my fuel mileage to try and get the rest of the pack back up to Jared. Or I could hopefully let Ryan or somebody else lead and risk maybe not seeing the lead again at all. Fortunately, I got very lucky when I think it was Ryan and Lincoln, they got into it and they lost a huge amount of time going side by side into the chicane. After the wreck, I was clear on both sides, and then I was able to hunt down Jared and save fuel off of him.
Well, it's another win in another different car to your name, starting to stack them up at this early stage.
Yeah, all three of these cars are very interesting in one way or another. The M2 is probably the hardest car to drive. The GR86 is probably the one I'm most used to, and this is somewhere in the middle. All three of these cars are fun, and I'm definitely looking forward to running the real-life ChampCar race next week.
Exciting. Who are you racing with? What kind of car?
I'm going to be racing with Rockwell Autosport Development in their Porsche Boxster. I drove it at Sebring. It's a really, really nice car, very well balanced.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the win. Enjoy your weekend a week and a half from now. And then after that, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in the Toyota GR86. How do you think that's going to go? Motorsport's one of my favorite tracks in all of iRacing. So definitely really looking forward to that. The GR86s, with their ridiculous draft, we're going to see some insane racing, especially because of Motorsport. You can just go side by side literally everywhere for the entire lap. So you're probably going to see lots and lots of 2 or maybe even 3 wide throughout the field. Apropos of nothing, I tell you what I enjoy about there is that their runoff is grass.
That is true. I very much appreciate that. It's very nice having natural track limits instead of tarmac runoff and arbitrary white lines defining the track limits.
Well, you've done all of the 4 races previous to this. I believe your name is in the draw that we're going to do shortly. So stick around for that one, Michael. But congratulations, and who'd you like to thank?
First of all, thank you to all my friends and family for tuning in and giving me all the support that they do. Couldn't do this without you. Thank you to G-Force Racing as well. And thank you to Track Level Up.
Awesome. See you in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you very much.
Devin, it's our favorite time. Time to spin the wheel.
Ooh, getting all excited here. So we've given the production crew notice, and they've put together a fantastic wheel that has a whole bunch of names on it. And I just want to take a moment to read those names to recognize all the folks that are eligible today. So, of all the racers that we had show up for the first 4 rounds, only these drivers showed up to all 4 rounds and managed to complete at least 50% of the laps. And one of these drivers is going to win 250 champ bucks tonight. So Michael Polasek, Jared Collins, Ryan Puckdell, Kyle Robertson, Ryan Carwile, Ian Giebler, Aaron Brown, Bowie Suin, Andy Cossack, Logan Sennhauser, Bill Woods, Sean Roberts, Orlando Harrell, Stephen Hermetz, John Nickelford, Mark Kruger, Zach Balthazar, Kyle Guillory, Jeffrey Rockwell, and Cindy Picott. Let's see who's lucky. We're in the booth. We're squinting. It's going to be Jeffrey Rockwell. Congratulations, Jeffrey. on the big win. We hope you get to put that towards some racing this year. And to the rest of you folks, you'll just have to keep on coming out and keep on tuning in to the ChampCar iRacing Sprint Series. And we'll see you folks in just a couple weeks on June 4th at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
2 weeks to practice, 3 weeks to the race. You'll see it on ChampCar Live and HJBC. Congratulations to our winner, Michael Polasek, again from Watkins, Glen. It's been David Haynes with Devin Peters and Michael Derby bringing you live coverage of the 2025 ChampCar iRacing Series. It continues in just a couple of weeks' time.